Welcome to Streams of Income, hosted by best-selling author and entrepreneur Dr. David Powers, where we discuss streams of income, passive income, residual income, and even why there are dinosaurs and zombies in this intro. Fasten your seatbelts and get ready to dive in.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Streams of Income podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you are willing to give me some of your time to listen to either a business lesson or an interview with an amazing entrepreneur. So once again, thank you for listening to the Streams of Income podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Hey guys, so this podcast, it's been a while since I've done one that's just me, and it's not an interview, but I've got something really big and really important going on that I wanted to tell you about. It's my new Kickstarter project for my very first novel. I wrote a novel. I've attempted fiction writing over the years, and mostly just short stories, or the closest thing to a novel that I've done is a collection of short stories. And so I finally wrote a full-length novel, and it's set in South Carolina, like my area where I'm at, and mostly Western North Carolina during Hurricane Helene. And so it's called The Midwife and the Medic. And so it's meant to be the beginning of a brand new fictional universe. So I've got a lot of things plugged into this novel that lead into larger stories, additional stories, and actually quite a bit of suspense and intrigue going on with some of the Easter eggs that you'll find in the novel. But here's the thing, what I wanted to talk about mostly today, and by all means, if you have any questions about the novel itself, the story, anything like that, ask me, leave messages wherever you're seeing this podcast, send me messages, whatever, and I'll be glad to answer anything. What I wanted to talk about today mainly is the Kickstarter, though, because I know a lot of you have tried Kickstarters, wanted to try Kickstarters, tried and failed. That's me. Or maybe in the past you've backed Kickstarters and thought about doing something more, or just wanted to know a little bit behind the scenes. And so that's mainly what I'm going to talk about today. And so this is definitely one also that I'm more than happy if you're listening to this in your car or just in the earbuds or something. But this is one you're going to want to watch the video at some point, because I'm going to actually do a screen share here in just a minute, and on the YouTube video section, you'll be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. You'll still get some benefit if you're just listening to the audio, but if you listen to the audio and hear some things and you're like, I wish I could see what he's talking about, then definitely go back, cue up the video, and that way, at your own leisure, you can pause it, take notes, whatever, because I got two purposes for today. Number one, I want you to go back my Kickstarter. Do whatever level you like the rewards. Because, you definitely want to get a copy of the book, but there's some cool rewards in there I'm going to go over here in just a few minutes. And my second goal, my main goal, I'm looking over here, my kids are throwing stuff down the stairs while I'm doing my podcast here. But as long as they don't hit me with it, I guess it's okay. But I also wanted to talk about the Kickstarter side of things so that you could gain some benefit from this. And hopefully, if you do a Kickstarter for some really awesome project later on, anything I say here might help you and give you a little more success with that. And so let's go ahead and dig into the screen share and let's get started. So let's share, and there we are. Okay, so if you're watching the YouTube version of this, you can see, let me just move some of these controls around. There we go. You can see the screen. And this is actually inside the creator thing, because on the left, this is not what you see if you log into my project. You only see what's mainly on the right-hand side of the screen. On the left is the creator dashboard. And so there's some things over there that we'll actually dig into here in a minute, and I'll show you behind the scenes. And so let's just go through the project real quick. I'll let you see everything. But I'm going to put a link in the show notes to the actual project itself. And that way, because I won't force you to watch the video and everything on the small screen here, watching it with me. But I'd love for you to watch it on your own and let me know what you think. My VA, Red in the Philippines, actually created that for me. And so it's pretty cool. All right, so as you can see, as of today, we're about, when did I launch this? On Thanksgiving Day, Thursday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're about 4 days in. And so I've got 5 backers at $325, but I only have a $500 goal. And so, of course, wanting to get a, 5, 10,000, that's my actual mental goal. But this being a novel, me being an unknown novelist, not unknown in other areas, but as far as writing fiction, definitely unknown. And so I wanted to go small just to kind of proof of concept with this and help get it published. 25 days to go. And so there, if you log in here, you can back the project. You can get reminders. Of course, Instagram, Facebook, everything there. Let's see here. All right. So as we go down, so if you're not familiar with Kickstarter, you've got the main Kickstarter screen there where you can see the story and a lot more detail on the reward tiers. If you don't want to breeze through all that, because it's like reading a long magazine article or a long blog, if you don't want to breeze through all that, you can go on the left over here, and if you go on the left, you can actually just go straight through the reward tiers without having to read all the verbiage and everything. It lists what you get with each tier, but you don't have to deal with all the details. And so let's go through that section first, and then I'm going to skip back over to the middle part, and we'll go through all the details. All right, so I've taken some Kickstarter classes. I've read a bunch of articles. I've actually called some people and gotten advice. And so everybody told me to do a pledge without a reward. Everybody tells me, they say, hey, it's $1, or you can pledge any amount, but just give people the chance to give money and not expect anything back. It's kind of like showing support. And I've constantly done this. Well, constantly. I've only done 2 Kickstarter projects, but every time, both times, I've done this and not gotten anything given here. The idea here, though, is that this is a really awesome place where if you can get all your social media followers or friends and family just to come in and give $1, and that's it, just $1 with no reward. Most projects you could back if you have a decent following. I've never had any success with this. So my friends and family, to be honest with you, you'll find yourself in one of 2 situations. Situation number 1, your friends and family won't support you with anything on your Kickstarter, mainly because I don't know. I don't want to say this in a bad way because it's probably going to come out bad, but since to be perfectly honest with you, most of my friends and family don't listen to my podcast. My podcast is mainly listened to by strangers, and which has its own merits. But I can also, say things that I don't have to worry about my family and friends hearing. And so the thing is, most friends and family, be careful expecting a lot of support there because number 1, they feel like they've earned anything you're giving away here. As far as reward tiers, they feel like they've earned it just by knowing you, raising you, being your cousin, whatever the situation is. Also, they feel like they've earned it, and they kind of just want whatever's in there for free. So it'd be awesome, really, really awesome if all your friends and family, you can get them to just give $1, and that would help quite a bit. But I've not had high hopes for this category. A lot of people swear by it. Maybe at certain levels of popularity, it works. All right, so I've actually created my own other one, though, my no reward thing. I called it the bystander. And basically just, back a project because you believe in it. Here's the thing, though, that I didn't really say on here, though, is that, I'm going to give everyone that supports it in any way, even if it's just $1, I'm going to give them something, even if it's a digital thank you card, something like that. But, I didn't really say that in here. Also, let's see, the local, and I titled all these reward tiers, gave them fun little titles. For $10, it's a digital thank you card with an image of Jen and Sam from the book. And so also, I'm planning on doing an appendix at the end of the book that lists all my Kickstarter backers. Kind of like how if you back a movie on Kickstarter, I've done that before, and you get your name in the credits. And basically at the end of the credits, as the credits roll by at the end of the movie, there'll be a section that says, thank you to all these folks who graciously supported us on Kickstarter, that kind of thing. And then also a digital image pack of images from the book. Now, originally, when I put this in here, there were only like 20 images that I'd created. I created some images to help storyboard the book, to give me a better sense and a feel of what I wanted the characters to look like. But I've been creating images to go with social media posts, things like that. And so the image pack has actually grown pretty large. We're probably up to around 50 images at this point. All right, the next level, let's see, this level is the medic. I've got a nice big picture of Jen in the forefront there. The medic, a PDF copy of the book, And so you'll get a PDF copy of the final edition of the book. And here's the thing about the book. I've already written it. I've written through 2 drafts already, and we're talking heavily edited drafts, but I've written through 2 drafts, and I'm leaving it. I stopped there because some of the tiers that we're going to cover actually include writing people into the book. They get to choose, if they want to be a good guy, bad guy. Writing. I've got one author that I'm working with right now. I won't give you more details until he's confirmed because he's checking with his agent. But I've got one author that I'm thinking about writing a full scene into the book that features this author and the very specific, particular kind of work he does. And so I'm holding back on the final draft until the Kickstarter's done. But with this draft right here, you get a PDF copy of the final book. And each one of these is, I think almost every single one of them includes all previous reward tiers. And so you'll get this plus everything that came before it. Let's see here. The Operator is at $50. And with this one, you get an autographed paperback copy of the book. You also get a camo fabric bookmark made by my daughter and all previous reward tiers. So this is the first one where you get an actual physical copy of the book, an actual physical thing. Every reward tier before this was digital. And so, but there's a lot of digital stuff. Like I said, everything that came before this. This one actually has 3 backers already, so that's pretty cool. Let's see, there were no backers on the Medic or the Local. Okay, so on the Operator, I've got 3 backers on this one. This is the most popular one so far. All right, Mountain Folk. This one is $100. And so with this one, you get an autographed hardcover edition of the book. There will be a classified field file insert on the inside about the mountain folk. And this is a group of characters from the book itself. If you've seen the TV show, I think it only lasted 1 or 2 seasons. I loved it. But TV show called The Outsiders. And it basically revolved around this group of mountain folk that lived deep in the mountains and didn't work well with city folk, that kind of thing. So there's a group similar to that in my book. And so you'll get an actual physical copy of the classified field file on the mountain folk tucked into this hardback copy. Also, you get an autographed page from the shotgunned first draft. Now, let me explain that. I actually, you know what? Let me do something here real quick. Nope, that's the wrong button. All right, so a little bit of technical difficulties here while I'm trying to figure this thing out. All right, I'll tell you what, y'all just pause and talk amongst yourselves for 1 second. That I need to explain something else about the book, and I'm looking for it right now. I probably should have had this stuff ready before, But hey, people like the way I do these things. And so here we go. All right. So this is the actual draft. And you can see this first page a little bit marked up. Of course, you're seeing me on the small screen right now. But I've got my first and second drafts in binders right now. Basically what I like to do is when I write a book, I like to print it out. I do this with my nonfiction books as well. I'll print it out, and that way I can read it not on the screen, but actually on a hard copy. And I'll see things that I just didn't notice on the digital screen. And so this has been printed out. It's marked up with all kinds of changes, things like that. So I got this idea from Jack Carr, the author of The Terminal List. If you've not read those books, you might have seen the TV series on Amazon starring Chris Pratt. But what he would do when he publishes a new novel is he would take it to the gun range. He would take the novel and just shoot it. And he actually did it with the novel and not, first drafts, things like that. I'm actually taking my first drafts out. I'm going to shoot them with a shotgun. I may take some other guns out there and shoot them as well. But with this Mountain Folk reward tier, you'll actually get autographed pages. An autographed page. It depends on how many people go for this one. But an autographed page from the shotgunned first draft. And then you also get a leather bookmark and all previous reward tiers. Let's see what else we've got. The next one is the Tent City Resident. And so with this one, you'll get an AI character portrait of you in the book. As if you're somebody that lives or staying at Tent City because your house was destroyed, something like that. You're there as an aid worker. I don't have all the specifics on who you might be, not until we finish the Kickstarter, but at this level, I will put an AI character portrait from a photo you send me in the book inside one of the scenes, or beside the scene where it's at. You'll also get a physical printed and autographed copy of your image. So I'm gonna do these images, I'm gonna create them, work on them, I'll print a copy out to send you with your copy of the book, and autograph that for you and everything. And that way, when you put the book on your shelf, you can actually, if you want to frame this thing, put it up beside it, it's you inside the book. That's pretty awesome. I've done that kind of thing when I've supported Kickstarters for comic books. What I've done is, I've actually got the original art from one. Let me show you this because it's worth getting up for. So I backed a Kickstarter one time for a comic book called Face Beast. And if you can see it on the small screen right there, this is the original art from the comic book. And so at the tier that I supported this comic book, I was drawn into the comic book battling the main character. And actually, my beard was fighting Face Beast's beard. And so I was a supervillain in the comic. Of course, I ended up in jail at the end, but no biggie. I'll escape and come back after Face Beast. And so I wanted some of these tiers to be some of the ones I've enjoyed the most, where I could literally become part of the project and be in the project. All right, so the next one here, Deputy Sheriff, $300. Your name, or a name you choose if you want somebody else, if you want to choose somebody else's name. This is kind of fun to do, like for birthday gifts, that kind of thing, for a spouse or a mom or something like that. But you don't just get an AI portrait of you, inside the book. This time you're actually mentioned in the book in a scene in Tent City. And so I thought that was pretty cool. This is just a, like a minor mention, but comes with the AI, and so you become part of the book. All right, Sheriff. This one is at $500. The Sheriff, you or someone you choose, will be written into the book in a scene. Now, the one before this, the Deputy Sheriff, it's you get mentioned by name, or the person gets mentioned by name in the book. This time, though, at this tier, you actually get a scene. And so you get to choose whether you're an aid worker, a bad guy, or a local resident. And I will write a scene, or choose one of the scenes that is kind of anonymous at this point, and I will write you into it. And I'll work with you on this and see what kind of scene you want to be in. Maybe, like when I'm in movies, I've been in several movies, I like being a bad guy that gets killed. It's just, I don't know, it's a weird, fun thing for me to play a bad guy that doesn't make it through the whole movie. I find that some people kind of like the same thing in books. Although, I'll say this though, if you want to be in the book and possibly appear in another one of the books in the series, we don't have to kill you off. I'll leave that up to you, but if you choose this tier, I'll get in touch with you when everything closes out and figure out what kind of scene you want. And, we'll do something fun, something you can enjoy, and something that when you show people this book and you're like, hey, look, that's my name in the book. And look, I got to rescue somebody, something fun like that. Or, hey, look, this is me in the book, and I was trying to, steal aid supplies so I could take them back to my family, and I got caught. Something fun. We could even have you start a bar fight or whatever you want to do. But we'll write it into the book so that it works organically with the theme of the book, but also is fun for you as well. See, now we're getting into the really high dollar stuff. All right, so Disaster Medic, and that's actually me, Disaster Medic. That's what I did. This one is $1,000. This one's a big one, big deal. This one's for like the high rollers, I guess we'll say. But this is an exclusive invite to a dinner in upstate South Carolina near my farm. It'll be either be at the farm or somewhere nearby. It just depends on how many people go for this one, where we have to do it. But it'll be a fun hands-on dinner, and we'll do some fun medical stuff, including tourniquet training. I'll get some tourniquets, and I will show and teach everybody that attends how to do a tourniquet, and also some tactical storytelling. Now, I got to be honest with you. The book is about midwives and medics. And so, those of us in both professions have some crazy stories. And sometimes the stories we'll tell make people not enjoy dinner sometimes. Well, that's what I mean by tactical storytelling. We'll tell you some of the really gross stories, some of the fun stories, some of the heartbreaking stories. But basically over dinner, me and some friends and whoever else attends, we'll get together and just have a good time. And just enjoy a big dinner together. And so that's the Disaster Medic $1,000 Kickstarter reward tier. All right, the Midwife. This one's much bigger, $1,500. With everything else, as well. Actually, this one doesn't include the other tiers. Let's see. Yeah, this one's a little different because it comes with a bunch of stuff. You'll end up getting a big package with this one if you support this one. So you'll receive the tactical reader kit, which includes a tactical bag, write in notebook, tactical pen, MRE, personal handwritten notes. There'll be some other goodies in there too. I'm limited by word count on this right-hand side of the screen, and in the details you'll actually find more. All right, let's see what else. The whistleblower. All right, at the $2,000 level on the Kickstarter, you can actually join me on a tour of disaster sites that are mentioned in the book. And we're talking actual real-life disaster sites mentioned in the book. We'll go to some of the addresses and places mentioned in the book. We'll have meals together. This one doesn't include travel, lodging, or meals, but I'll help set all that up and give you places that, where we can stay as a group, that kind of thing. And then we'll hop in some vehicles and just go around to some of these sites and, you get pictures with the book. I'll have it cited in the book where all these places are. It's going to be fun. And so that's the $2,000 whistleblower level. And I think, yep, that's it. That's all the reward tiers. So let's go down this left side of the screen now and see. And I won't bore you to death reading all this to you. I'd love for you to read it when you check on the Kickstarter on your own. But the first section talks about why I wrote the book. Talks a little bit about the characters, Sam Jenkins, the medic, and Jen Hayes, the midwife. Now, in case you're wondering, the inspiration for these folks, the job and everything come from Sam Jenkins. There's a lot of the stuff in the story about him that is not directly tied to me, but inspired by friends. The Jen Hayes character is actually inspired by a friend of mine, the combat midwife. And so I will, she's been involved in helping me publicize this some, and I'll make sure, for the supporters that you can get in touch with her and get some good stories and things from her as well. But Jen is based on a real character. And then as we go down, so this next section explains why I'm wanting to fund this on Kickstarter, mainly because I didn't want to just sell a book. I wanted to sell an experience. I want people to have the experience of being in the book, the experience of helping me write some of this universe, and that includes ways you can make money helping me write future books in this series. And not only that, but ways to experience the scenes in the book in real life by going on that tour. And so, like I say, this is the specs on the rewards. I'm going to just scan through this real fast. But basically, every one of those rewards we talked about. There's a lot more detail here about the rewards, what's entailed in that. And let's go ahead and scan on down. We're at the sheriff, the disaster medic, a little more details on that dinner. That's going to be awesome. And so let's see, we go on down further. The midwife, the whistleblower, and stretch goals. And so this is one thing, if you're wanting to see some of the behind the scenes stuff with Kickstarter, I've seen a lot of friends have really great success with stretch goals. In other words, if this thing is funded to a certain amount, here's the upgrades that everybody, or it depends on how you do it, or almost everybody get. And so that's probably why most of the people that have joined at the $50 operator level, is because that's who gets the stretch goal upgrades if this thing funds more. So if we raise $1,000, we get some extra upgrades there, live Zoom Q&A, basically an AMA Ask Me Anything session about the book, the characters, anything like that. And that'll just be for the people that do this. It's not going to be released publicly, at least for a very long time. And it'll also be recorded, if you can't make the date that we choose. But part of this, too, I wanted to make some fun G.I. Joe blister card add-ons for this. And so if you're old enough like me to have played with the original G.I. Joe action figures, the blister packs, which is the packaging the G.I. Joes came in, on the back of it was basically an identity card for that G.I. Joe character. Those were huge collectibles. I mean, as a kid, I would cut those out, and real precise, just cut those out, put them in a file box, trade them with friends, look at them with friends, read them all the time, create my own. And so I'm going to create ones that look like the original G.I. Joe blister packs for the main characters in the book. And so you'll get those if we hit the stretch goals. All right, so if we raise $5,000, with this one, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to get some real maps, and I'm going to hand letter, I'm going to create field maps as if you would have pulled maps straight from the book I'm going to create these, and these are going to be, it's not something I'm going to print off. I'm actually going to hand create each one. So they'll have the same information on them, but each one's going to be a little bit different. Maybe I smudge it here, maybe I write a little different here, something like that. But you're going to get some custom handmade maps of sites in the book. And so that's at the $5,000 level. At the $10,000 level, we're going to actually create some patches from the 739 PsyOps detachment, who they appear in the book. And detachment 793 is actually going to play a major part in the fictional universe this book is part of. I've actually already started creating some of the things that the 793rd is a part of, but you're going to get an actual patch, Velcro on the back that you could stick onto a shirt, a backpack, anything like that from the book. All right, at the $15,000 level for stretch goals, we're going to do first aid classes. And so I'll do some first aid classes on Zoom, or if you're close enough here, you can come to the farm. We'll do it in person. And here's the cool thing. With this one, I will deliver first aid classes, and we're talking fully certified. You'll actually get a certification first aid class that we do on Zoom. But if you come to the farm, I've got enough area here that if you bring your group to the farm for this first aid class, we'll do search and rescue scenarios in the woods. We won't just do first aid where you're sitting on my porch and we're going through this class. We'll actually stage some fake victims out in the woods, and you'll have to find them, treat them, and then deliver them back to the barn. And so that would be a lot of fun. And there's also a thing here. If you're within a 2-hour radius of my house, I'll come to you and do the class in person. And we can still do the search and rescue part if you have the property available. Or we could just do that in a park nearby, whatever you want. But I'm really hoping we hit the stretch goal for that one, because I want to do some of that. That's going to be so much fun. All right. And then as with any Kickstarter, you have to fill out risk and logistics, things like that. And so these are kind of important to just reassure your backers that I'm not going to run away with all the money. I'm going to deliver the goods when it's done. Here's the risks associated with it, but here's also why you can count on me for this. And so, like I say, these are important for reassuring your backers. So the book is already written. I'm going to make some edits after the Kickstarter's done. The book's written. It's fully edited and proofread, and so I'm just going to modify it based on the Kickstarter. Printing will be through U.S. partners, and so we're not going to have to worry about tariffs and all that. That's also another reason why I didn't set it up to deliver foreign. It's only U.S. and Canada, and so we're using U.S. printers for this. And the other goodies are items that already sourced, or I've already set up sourcing for them. So it's not like I'm going to have to wait months and months and months after the Kickstarter to deliver on any of the physical goods. And then let's see. And then there's a section about me, and mainly just the parts of the book that came from me in my life. And then final words, just a few, last little pep talk. All right. So risks and challenges again. All right. So with Kickstarter, one of the things that Kickstarter does now, you have to verify anything that's done with AI. And so the artwork, I didn't hand paint this stuff. The artwork is created with AI. I've actually taken some classes recently on AI prompting, things like that. And so I'm learning how to use AI to its full capabilities with artwork especially. But it's been fun. But you do have to disclose that when you create a Kickstarter. And that's the end of that one. And that's the end of that. So here, now what we're going to do, special treat, if you've stayed with me through the end, we're going to skip over and I'm going to show you the creator dashboard. And so you can see what it actually looks like when you run a Kickstarter. And so on the screen I'm sharing now, this is the creator dashboard. And so this is where I log in every morning to see how things are going. And so $325 pledged. It is 65% funded. Now here's the dirty secret about Kickstarter. And if you're thinking about doing a Kickstarter at some point, you really need to know this, because with my first Kickstarter that failed, it was for a project here on the farm. This one really took me by surprise and hurt when I saw what happened with this one. Is just because you have a certain amount of money funded and a percentage funded, it is really, really, really super easy for people to pull their funding before your Kickstarter closes. Now, technically, when it closes, they're on the hook for that money. The money should go straight to you at that point, minus Kickstarter fees. once it funds, because they've had to put it on a credit card, something like that. Now, a lot of times they'll put them on credit cards that aren't active. They may cancel the credit card before this thing finishes. There are so many ways that you can see a Kickstarter and say, oh, it's funded this much money, and then it never happens. It's because it's so easy for people to pull the funding. All right, funding progress. So if you like the analytics and charts, you can see here how this works. Average pledge is at $65. You can see where I had a big jump on, I think it was on Thanksgiving, 28 November, on the chart on the left there, and it's gone up incrementally since then. And I'm fine with incremental. I mean, yeah, like anybody, I would love for it to be at 100% or more on day one, within that first 24 hours, or even now, 4 days in. But I'm fine with incremental as long as it works. All right, backer sources. And so you can look here and see what's working. Kickstarter discovery. So 49% of the pledges, pretty much half of the pledges, come through people just finding it on Kickstarter. 33%, two of the pledges have come from emails. Basically, I did a long pre-launch series, and people signed up to be notified when the project launched. And so two of my backers came from that. One of them I know is a very good friend of mine that he did it straight from that. But basically, as soon as it launched, that list of pre-launch followers were sent an email saying the project is live, back it now. And also, here's one profile saved project. Chances are that means, let's see what that means. Let's see, they navigated from a saved project okay, for some reason, at some point, somebody saved this project into their Kickstarter profile and then went back and clicked on that link to back it. All right, now here's something that's cool for if you want to do your own Kickstarter at some point. And I'm using this. If any of you are interested, get in touch with me. My email and contact information is in the show notes. If you want to get in touch with me for this, you can do custom referral tags inside of Kickstarter. And so what I have done custom referral tags for a lot of people. And you can see those skipping by. And so I've done custom referral tags. And basically, I send that. It's a unique link for a certain person. And so I'll see how much money comes in from people using that link. And so what I'm doing is I'm basically here. I've created a launch team, or I'm slowly creating a launch team, actually both. And so if you want to be part of this launch team, get in touch. I will create a referral tag for you. So here's what I'm doing for those people though. For every $1 they refer, I'm going to give them rewards equal to that value amount. And so in other words, if somebody on that referral list, they refer enough people to me that those people sign up for $1,000 worth of rewards in the Kickstarter thing, then I'm going to give that person at the $1,000 level all the rewards up to that level. And so just for the referrals. And so that's just something I'm doing for friends and people that help me out with this. And so it's a great way if you want to fund it small, just to get your name in the list. Like that operator level, especially that way you're good for the upgrade, the stretch goals. Funded at the operator level at a smaller amount, but let's say you're wanting that $1,000, I think it was the $1,000 dinner on the farm. Just refer enough people that they've spent $1,000 on rewards, and there you go. You get everything from the $1,000 level on down. All right, so I've got 20 total followers, only 4 of those converted. So I've not dug into these stats enough to know if that's a good conversion rate or not. I'm trying to do things a little different than just paying attention to that, and mainly working with the referrals right now. Project video plays. All right, so 5 people have watched the video. So that tells me right there, of all the people that have seen the Kickstarter project site, only 5 have watched the video. So that seems kind of low to me. It says 40%. Okay, 40% of those watched the video all the way through. And so that tells me on my next one, I might need to maybe go in a different direction with the video. Actually, what I'm thinking about doing, if this one funds enough, on the next novel, if I do a Kickstarter for it as well, the next one in the series, I'm actually thinking about creating a short animated film for the video itself. And so more of a movie trailer than a video about the project. And so I think that would actually get a lot more views, and especially a lot more completed views. That also would play really well on YouTube. people just wanting to watch a short animated film, and then click on the link and join the Kickstarter. All right, reward popularity. And then we go down to Google Analytics. If I had done a Google tracking ID, anything like that, Facebook pixels. And then, okay, so I'm not going to show you this last section because this is kind of confidential with the people that have backed me. So that's when you go down to the bottom though, on your dashboard, what you'll see is actually the actual list of the names of everybody that backed you. You can click on a button to send them individual messages. It'll tell what level they backed it, how much they put in, all of that. On the left here on the dashboard, you can see a few more things. You can use Pledge Manager when you're done with the project. You can see more advanced analytics, things like that, and collaborators, all the different things that help you plan and take your project to a successful completion. So let's go back up, or actually let's go over here where we can just see a little picture there, and I'll leave that there. And so that is my Kickstarter project. I hope you've stuck with me this whole time because, I wanted some folks to dig into the back end of this. And that way, if you're planning something, because after all, the podcast is streams of income, and Kickstarter can be an amazingly lucrative, I'm getting tongue-tied already, lucrative stream of income for you for any number of different projects. A lot of people will have a few Kickstarter failures if you do them often. I've not done them often. This is only my second one. My first one was a colossal failure because it was for something really big, and it did not fund, which means all the people that did back it, there were about 20 backers, and so I didn't get any of that. It just the people, if a Kickstarter project doesn't fund, like you see there, the $500 goal, if it doesn't fund everybody that pledged money, they don't owe that money. It ends, and the money doesn't go anywhere. It never left their hands. And so that's what happens when a Kickstarter project fails and doesn't work. So if you have any questions, just get in touch, and we'll stop the screen share here and kind of close this out. But like I say, just get in touch. My email, if you want to get in touch with me, just straight through without having to click on anything, just Dr. Dave at redteamgoals.com. My website is redteamgoals.com. And there's links in there, everything just to get in touch, find my socials, things like that. If you were to say, Dr. Dave, how can I help you with this project without having to pay anything? I don't have much money. It's Christmas time. I don't want to do any of that. How can I help you? Just mention it. Mention it on your social media. Grab the link out of the show notes for the project. Mention it on social media. And if you want to get in touch with me and get a referral link before you mention it, that way, who knows? If you don't have the money to fund the project, but you maybe would like to get a copy of the book, something like that, just get a referral link from me. Build up some referrals, and that way, hopefully we get you to a level where I'll be sending you a copy of the book regardless. If you do want a really cool Christmas gift, one thing I am doing because the book won't be out by Christmas, the Kickstarter will end around Christmas time though. If you back the Kickstarter and it's for a Christmas gift, what I will do is I will send you a postcard, a greeting card, something along those lines that you can wrap and put under the tree for someone saying, hey, I've purchased this book for you. It's coming out this spring, whenever, blah, blah, blah. But it's been purchased for you as a gift, and plus you get all these other goodies. I'm more than happy to do that, and so that's something I'm planning to do for folks that use this as a Christmas gift. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close out before I start rambling, and like I said, if you have any questions or anything, just get in touch. Oh, I know, I promised that was the end. But one last thing, and maybe this can benefit you as well. If you have any suggestions for someone you'd like to see on the podcast, feel free to send me their information or just their name. And if I like the idea, I'll try to look them up myself. But any suggestions, no matter how crazy, no matter how, well, especially if it's cool, well, crazy also, just send me your suggestions. And also, if you want to be on the podcast, get in touch with me. My email, all my contact info is in the show notes. Also, if you don't want to look at the show notes, or you're in your car, maybe you shouldn't look at the show notes while you're driving, it's redteamgoals.com. You can get all my links and everything else there. So let me know your suggestions and tell me more about yourself if you'd like to be on the podcast as well. Thanks again for listening.